does it? I'll look it up in the Hebrew just to make sure.
But that's just obvious.
Not necessarily. It's like the wind. The Wilbur, here, listen to what I'm saying. It's like the wind. Okay, you cannot see the wind, but you can see the wind. You can see the result of the wind.
Amen.
The trees, the down power line.
Exactly.
But you cannot see the wind.
It's like a hurricane.
So it's the same thing with the shofar. In the spirit realm, you cannot see you cannot see the sound of the shofar, but you could sure see what it does. You could sure see the results that it does. And I suggest to you we start using it as a weapon of war and as a proclamation of victory, for gathering victory and for what? Deliverance. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
Amen. So remember, when you have that shofar, some people will be afraid and some people will want to get closer. Yehoshua, chapter 6. You have your scriptures in front of you. I gave it to you on the sheet. Yehoshua, chapter 6. And let's pick up in verse 4. Joshua, chapter 6. Tough stuff, huh? Joshua, chapter 6 and verse 4. This is, of course, the account of Jericho. There are no stories in the Bible, so we don't believe in stories.
Amen.
This is the biblical account of Jericho. And we'll start in verse 4. 7 Kohanim shall carry before the ark 7 shofars. Notice, every Kohen walks and travels with his shofar. Question is, do we walk and travel with our shofar? And if we're candid and honest, the answer is no.
Exactly.
Most of us don't. If you do, that's tough. Then you're functioning as part of your priesthood. That's functioning as part of your priesthood. On the 7th day, this will be instructions to the Kohanim. On the 7th day, you shall go around the city 7 times. The Kohanim will blow with the shofars on the 7th day. It shall come to pass when they make a tekiah gedolah with the shofars, and when you hear the sound of the shofars, all the people shall shout with a great shout. And the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall ascend, every man directly before him. Now, and then you could read through to verse 21. So look, first Yahweh tells you what's going to happen through the sound of the shofar, and then in the rest of the verses, Wilbur, verses 6 through 21, they see the results of the shofar blowing. First Yahweh tells them through the Ruach what's going to happen beforehand, then they obey Yahweh, they go around the city 7 times on the 7th day, and the city walls fall down when they shout and they blow the what? Shofars, 1 for each Kohen. And then those things come to pass. So first they hear the sound, and then they see the sound, because they see the results of the sound. But the point is that victory, could Yahweh have delivered Israel some other way?
Yes.
Could Yahweh have chosen to deliver Israel any other way?
Yep.
Yes. He chose to use the shofar. It is an instrument that he's given us as his people, and we need to use it on a regular basis.
Amen.
Amen.
And I know I don't, and I know that I need to start doing it, because I got convicted that this is why there are deliverance ministries in the church that are a joke. They're an absolute joke. Because the same person that got delivered on Sunday is back on heroin next week. Right? Or this time he comes back with
7 more.
with 7 more, Demerol and Vicodin, but they're delivered, glory to God. And then the same person comes up next Sunday and they get more prayer, and they come up next Sunday more prayer. Well, in the Bible, when Yeshua delivered you, you were delivered, you stayed delivered. You didn't have to maintain. You didn't need an HMO in Yahweh to maintain your deliverance. And part of the HMO, you got to go up every Sunday and say, "Yo, Mo, H me my O. Yo, Mo, H me my O, because I need to maintain. It's been 6 days and I need a fix." It's a whole bunch of religious gobbledygook. Most of those clowns that do deliverance don't even speak, not all of them, pardon me, some don't speak a word of English. All right? And they assume the devil understands them. Okay, they're casting out demons of this and demons of that and demons of this. In the meantime, they have their own 29 demons.
Yep.
So you got demons trying to cast out demons, and if demons try to cast out demons, you got a whole bunch of confusion. if you want to gather these people out of their darkness and into the marvelous light of Yeshua, use the gathering tool of the shofar. That's why people don't get delivered in the church. Because what goes on there every Sunday is a whole bunch of keyboards, and a whole bunch of drums, and a whole bunch of guitars. Those aren't those aren't instruments of delivery. Those are instruments of praise. They're not instruments of delivery. They're not instruments of victory. This is an instrument of deliverance, gathering, and victory. See, the devil has blinded us to the real purpose of this thing. This thing is not to just announce that it's Yom Kippur or that it's Yom Teruah. That's not the purpose of the shofar. The purpose of the shofar is to be used as part of our equipment to function as a Kohen. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen. It's like you got the
Judges.
plea. Turban.
Judges. While you turn to Judges, I'm going to read you verse 8 and 9. It came to pass, we were just in Yehoshua 6. Joshua 6, 8 and 9. But in the meantime, turn to Judges. It came to pass, Yehoshua had spoken to the people, the 7 Kohanim bearing the 7 shofars, passed before Yahweh. They blew with the shofars, and the ark of the testimony followed. The armed men went before the Kohanim who blew with the shofars. The rear guard came after the ark, behind the Kohanim, blowing with the shofars. So the Kohanim were all part of and the shofars were all part of military victory and conquest. Judges, all part of military victory and conquest. Shoftim, 720. Shoftim, 720. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
And the 3 companies blew the shofars and broke the jars, and held the torches in their left hands, and the shofars in their right hands, to blow with. And they cried out, "The sword of Yahweh and of Gideon! The sword of Yahweh and of Gideon!" And they stood every man in his place around the camp. Notice they were gathered around. See, gathering. And all the army ran, cried, and fled. This is the army of who? Midian. And the 300 blew the shofar. See, here we have 300, Chris. You see, every account is different. The 300 blew the shofar. And Yahweh set every man's sword against his fellow, even throughout all the army. The army fled to Beth Shittah in Seret, to the border of Avel Mecholah to Tavah. The men of Israel gathered together out of Naphtali, Asher, and Manasseh, and pursued Midian. We see 2 purposes of the shofar here in Shoftim 7, 20 to 23. Number 1, gather the people. 3 purposes. Number 2, victory over Midian. Number 3, confuse the enemy.
That's right. Started killing themselves.
Because they started killing themselves.
Amen. That's beautiful.
The reason you still have struggles in the house, because you're not blowing the shofar over the kids, over your wife, who cares how she's going to beat you up when she wakes up? When she goes to sleep, blow the shofar. Boop. Blow the shofar over your children. Blow the shofar as they're pulling out of the driveway. Blow the shofar when they're coming home. Use it, implement it on a daily basis.
That's cold.
It's one of the chief weapons of the kahanut.
Yes.
What is the kahanut? The priesthood. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
And we don't use it that way. Oh, it's nice. The brother has a couple in his house. We'll go to the brother's house. We'll sit there, we don't want it to be too churchy. Wilbur, we don't want to be too churchy.
Man.
So we'll blow the shofar, just so everybody knows we're not in the church.
Glory to glory. How Yahweh just...
That's not why you use the shofar. You use it to confuse the devil.
Yes.
The word of Yahweh says right here, when Midian heard the voice of the shofar, they started killing each other.
Yeah.
Not only the sages then.
We should go on the West Bank and the Palestinian-occupied West Bank and the Palestinian-occupied Gaza, and from morning to night take turns blowing the shofar so those Rabitos, Aribitos, Arabatos, Arabians wind up killing each other. They don't have the time to plan on killing Jews.
Told.
Those Arabic beings kill each other. The Hebrew word Arabim, is found in Revelation chapter 9. When the Aravim crossed the Euphrates River on their march to Jerusalem as the end-time beast tries to suffocate Jerusalem and the nation of Israel. And what is the English word Aravim? Locusts.
Wow.
These aren't Chinese people coming from China.